Hey everyone, BioFan here. Today my friend Chachi Bobinks and I have paid a visit to the BioWare studio in Austin.
Hi everyone, I'm Chachi Bobinks. You may recognize me from the Dialogue Wheel fan site and podcast or in7 Radio. Today BioFan and I sat down with BioWare writer Courtney Woods to discuss the Descent DLC for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Hi, I'm Courtney Woods. I'm a writer at BioWare Austin.
Alright, so where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, from the South, and then, but I went to school. I went to NYU up in New York.
Okay.
So I went from Atlanta to New York to right down to Texas.
You know, they say you can never really leave the South. We will always draw.
Always come back.
It was really funny because my parents really wanted me to go to a Southern school, but I loved NYU. Like, I visited, and it was just immediate, like, I have to go here, and I love the city, and but then for work, I wanted to work at BioWare, and Austin had an opening, so it was like, I'm back down in Texas.
How long have you been in the gaming industry, and how long have you been at BioWare?
I've been in the gaming industry for about 4.5, almost 5 years, and I've been BioWare the whole time.
Oh, okay.
So when I was in college, I wrote for press. So I did some game journalism, and I had a Tumblr. It wasn't in YouTube or anything like that, but I had like this Tumblr that I updated. It was all about BioWare, and then I wrote for Newsarama, and I just followed basically anyone that worked at BioWare. I pestered, being like, I did my job first. I was professional, but then I was like, poke. I really want to work at your company. You're my dream company, and it ended up working. I guess I wasn't too stalkerish. You try to keep that balance between professional and stalker, and I found it, I guess.
I like that, the balance between professional and stalker. If you have a guide for how to do that, please do tell.
It's a lot of, you gotta read the facial signals, and if they message you back or not. There's those sorts of things. Yeah.
No, I used to have a rule. It was my 2 tweets and a reply. Like every time I talked to anyone who worked in the game industry, I'm like, I can send them 2 tweets and a reply, and then I'm done. It doesn't matter what's said. Anything more than that, it's stalker. You also
can kind of tell, like, it depends on the person as well. Some people are really friendly and open and stuff on social media, and others, like, it's not even that they're not friendly or anything. It's just like they're just not on there as much. Like, sometimes there's some days that I try to reply as much as possible, and then there are other days I'm like, oh God, I didn't even look at my phone today. I hope people don't think I'm being mean, or yeah.
That's so great. So we know you started off with community, which is awesome, by the way, and then transitioned into writing. What got you into the writing?
Well, I always wanted to be a writer. So before I got into games, I interned at DC Comics, and I thought I wanted to go into comics for writing. And then I picked up a little game called Dragon Age Origins, and that just literally changed my life. I've always liked games, but I had kind of taken a break from them right before college, mainly so I could get into college, focus on things. But I was more into like comics and manga and anime, so it was all of those things that kind of took up my life for a couple of years, and then I got back into gaming, playing Origins, and I was like, this is the ultimate of ultimates.
This is the best thing ever.
Yeah. I remember it was spring break, and I picked it up, and it had just come out not that long ago, and I put it in. It was at like 10 in the morning or something. I put it in, and I did not stop playing until 10 a.m. the next day.
I think I did the exact same thing.
And even then it was like only maybe an hour just to sleep for an hour, and then it was immediately back into it. And that was the whole week. Like, I did not stop. Cause it was one of those things where I was like, I didn't even know, that you could do these things in a game. Cause I had played KOTOR and stuff back in the day, but I was young, and, I kind of forgotten about everything. But then that immediately just went, you know, I played Origins and then I was completely hooked. Everything else got like pushed aside, and I pretty much play everything now. Like anything that comes out, I'm playing constantly. What I studied in college was actually villainy and literature, film, and other media. Yeah, so
nice.
I love villains.
Are you a Logain fan then?
I am a Logain fan. I have like interesting feelings towards Logain because if you read David Gator's books, like, you know, he's, you know, the backstory behind all of his decisions, and he's such a tragic character. Who's actually, I did use him in one of my papers for college. So he's one of those tragic villains that I love. But I could never, I don't even, that's like one of the only achievements that I don't have in Origins, is because I could never get rid of Alistair. I could never I could never do it. Like,
no, you can't.
Even just like, one of my friends was like, just have a save ready. Like, just do it, get the achievement, and then reload. And I was like, he would know. Like, I would have that experience.
Steve Valentine is going to come up to me, and he's just going to know.
I know what you did.
I couldn't do it. So there's a few things like that. It's the same with like siding with the Templars and Dragon Age 2. Like, I even had a playthrough set. I was like, this is my guy that is going to side. He's going to be the pro Templar Dragon Age 2 playthrough.
Yeah, no.
It didn't last. I couldn't do it.
So, the Descent DLC for Dragon Age Inquisition, both you and Hall Hood worked on that.
Yes.
What specific parts of the DLC did you write?
So that's an interesting question. Because it's hard to say. The way that Hall and I work, I love Hall. He's like my mentor, and we work really well together. But how it works is, a lot of times we'll write a scene and then we'll hand it off to the other person. They'll do a pass, and then it comes back, and then that person will do another pass. So it's like pass after pass after pass. So I could tell you like specific lines that I wrote, but most of it would be, I couldn't say like I wrote Ren, because we both wrote Ren. And then of course the amazing editing team up in Edmonton and Montreal, because Cameron also worked on it. They go in and they do their voice passes and stuff as well. So it really is just a team effort.
So no one person did one thing. It was kind of just everyone.
Except maybe the Nug King, which even then, multiple people, yeah. I would say no one person really, there's no like writer for Volta, writer for Ren, like you might see in some of the companions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask, because it is a scene very near and dear to my heart. So who do I need to hug for writing the Nug scene? Who came up with that?
It probably is me.
It's probably you. Okay. Thank you so much.
So the Nug King, it's really funny. So that was one of those things that
best scene ever.
Thank you. Yes. Because I love Nugs. I'm kind of obsessed with Nugs.
Too.
Yeah, like I think they're like naked pug bunnies, and I have a pug, and I just love naked fat animals. And anything like that, and they squeak, and I've loved them ever since, Origins. It was like you had to collect all the Nugs, and you had to get a Nug for Liliana, and so it was always something that I loved. And we were right. I'm trying to remember. So the way it came about was that we were doing we wrote a pass on companion interjections, and then of course it goes up to Edmonton to do like the full voice, and then they sometimes completely change them and just they know the characters more than we do. So, but for Varix, I had a Nug King in there, and I messaged Mary and was like, is there any way that we can just keep the Nug King part in there? Just mention the Nug King. And she actually made the line like way, way better. It was, I laughed so hard when she was talking about like rolling and shit and stuff. And sorry, I'm not fucking cursing.
No, you're go for it. Full throttle.
We're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
The games are adult, rated.
that's true.
So,
But you never know. Sometimes people are sensitive. Yeah, and I tend to curse like a sailor. So.
Oh, no, you're good here. You're fine.
But yeah, my dream was that we had that line, and then somewhere in the level, a little Nug, maybe with a crown, would run by, and Varric would just say, "Well, shit," and that's all I wanted. And then it just kind of took off. Our level designer, Rachel Cottrell, and then cinematics designer, Katie Johnson, they saw the line, and they were like, no, we have to do something big. And they actually, so then...
Are they here? Are they
actually, Rachel's out sick today, but Katie's, I think, is here. So
I need to hug them, too.
Yeah. Because Katie's the one that, so Rachel put in as many nugs as possible before it was, ruining performance. And then,
as many as you can without making that Xbox explode.
Yeah. And then, Katie did the whole scene, and they actually used, the scene from The Lion King, Be Prepared, the song? It was that's what it's based off of. So,
oh my god! Oh my god!
That is so great. So, one day, I came in, and they were showing me this video, and I was like, oh my god, this is way bigger. And I also love cheese, so it was all of the cheese and
nugs and
so it was it has to be all of that. And then Karen edited the scene, and she added in if you had the noble perk that you squeak. She was like, do you think that would be okay? And I was like, yeah, Karen, you don't even have to ask me that. That's the best idea ever. So it was really a group effort of, Nug enthusiasts. I call them Nugmirers.
Nugmirers.
I like that.
I'm adding that to my Twitter bio.
Yeah.
Today.
So, yeah, it was just a huge fest of Nug love, and everyone getting it in. And Hall was the one, I think... Because he knew I wanted this to happen, but I didn't want to, force people to do this crazy funny Easter egg. So he poked it along, and so everyone, it was a team effort for the Nug. But yeah, it was something. It all just started from that one little line.
That's so incredible.
Oh, that's so nice. Still love that scene so much.
Well, it was one of those things that I was as a fan of Dragon Age, if I was playing the game, I would want to see this.
Right?
Yes.
You totally hit our demographic, 100%, right?
150 billion.
Oh, yeah, I know people that are new to Dragon Age, or, are not as big of fans of Nugs. We're just what the hell? What did I play?
Yeah.
I think actually, Lady Insanity broke my heart. I was watching her.
She tried to kill them.
And she killed them.
I was like, you monster!
I was watching it, and I was like, oh, she's about to get to the part with the Nug King.
And then she tried to kill him. I was like, what is... No!
I was sitting there oh my god! She killed them!
That monster!
How? But yeah.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that. I haven't watched
You should watch it. It's pretty... She's laughing maniacally.
What? And I'm just there no.
The whole chat was just blowing up
yeah.
You're about to get judged! Nug karma! It was so good. It was
so
great.
For the whole kind of DLC of the Descent in general, what were some of the sources of inspiration for the team?
So the biggest sources of inspiration was the Underdark, and the original experience that you have in Origins, and also just kind of trying to add a BioWare spin on that classic dungeon crawl experience from older games. So that's really what it was, and just trying to show a different. Inquisition is great because you go to so many places, you experience so many different wildernesses and terrains and stories, and, you see a lot about surface dwarves, which is great because, in Origins, you didn't really get to see that. In Dragon Age 2, you do it with Varric and, in Kirkwall in that small area, but you get to see a lot of it with different perspectives in Inquisition. So, but you didn't get to see the Orzammar perspective, and we also didn't want to do the same thing from Origins. But yeah, and I always wanted to do something with Legion of the Dead. Like I loved Legion of the Dead from Origins, and so when we were talking about like in the very beginning, talking about like dwarves and stuff, I was like, oh, we should definitely do something with Legion of the Dead. Definitely. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in the Deep Roads, Legion of the Dead. Let's hear it.
I love it. It's so great. All right, so this is something I love doing. And everyone I ever interview, I do this to them. So I'm so sorry. The fact that no one's cut me off yet, it's exactly why this is happening. But I love hearing stories about, like, funny things that happen in the development. Like, maybe glitches that were hilarious. Or, like, Karen Weeks talked to me about, like, the origin of some names in Dragon Age Inquisition and how they accidentally were problematic. What do you have for me?
So when we're making the game, before the VO comes in, they have like robot voice.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. And
hello, Inquisitor.
Yeah, very much like it's a computer generated voice. And so I was watching. Katie was showing me the first scene where you're going down in the elevator. All your companions talk. Mm-hmm. And I about died because they all had the voice, and I was like, okay, whatever. But when it got to Iron Bull, and I'm used to Freddie Prinze Jr., Iron Bull. Yeah. This robot voice comes out where he's like, I'm worried my horns won't fit. I lost it. And they kept calling it, instead of earthquakes, earthquacks. That became like the thing. It was like,
the Titan is making earthquakes.
Yeah. So it was funny things like that where it's nice to have the line being said so it's not just silence or just the subtitle, but hearing Robot Iron Bull talking about whether or not his horns will fit is great. I just about died every time, and they're like, Courtney, just watch the scene, and I was like, I can't watch the scene.
Can you imagine like romance scenes with them?
I never had to see that.
The Iron Bull romance scene in robot voice would probably be like one of the...
Do they have a robot disgusted noise? And if so, I want to know what that sounds like.
we have one like disgusted noise for Cassandra, of course, but I don't know. I didn't hear all of it. It was just certain scenes, so I don't know. But it usually tries to say what's there.
Disgusted robot. Yeah. So it's kind of hinted at, but I really wanted to ask. So Ren and Volta, what was going down in the Deep Roads exactly with those? So I never,
I like to leave things up to, the fans and what. But in my mind, there's a very deep respect and friendship between those two, and they've gone through a lot. They probably, I would say, they've never acted on anything, but it doesn't mean that wasn't there. That's kind of the unrequited love. I ship it. We wanted to keep it. We didn't, we didn't want to distract and from the overall story. So I'm not going to say either way, but it's up to you.
So canon what you want.
Canon accepted. There you go. That's an answer. We'll take it. All right, and something I'm not going to spoil too much here.
No, I think you can. Can I? Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Something pretty important happened with Volta at the end of the DLC.
Yes.
Do you think we'll see Volta again in the future?
I don't know. I literally don't know. Anything's possible. But I have no idea. I can't really say more than that because I honestly don't know. So I would be leading you astray with more of an answer than that.
That's fine.
Can you tell us what you're working on next?
I am currently working on Mass Effect.
Excellent.
I can't say anything more than that.
No, that's okay.
That's fine.
You're fine.
You're good on that. That's fine.
I'm currently working on Mass Effect, yeah.
I'm
really excited. Really excited.
We're really excited.
We're excited for you.
Thank you.
Like, if you're ever just needing some pep, we'll be like, you're doing great.
Just, like, keep us on tab.
You're
and
doing
if you're, like,
great.
you're having a bad day, we'll be like, you can do it. We've been waiting forever. You're great. Yeah. Alright, so...
She said she played Origins.
Hey, you played Origin.
I played all of the Dragon Age.
Oh, you played all of them.
Yeah, Dragon Age is my favorite IP of all time.
Excellent. We like to hear that.
Yep.
I even, I've played definitely over 1,000 hours of Origins.
Oh, nice.
Played Dragon Age 2 7 times.
Excellent.
And I'm already hundreds and hundreds of hours into Inquisition. I took the week off.
You are one of us.
I know, that's kind of the funny thing is, when Inquisition came out, I took the whole week off from work here to just play it.
Oh, I did the same.
Yeah. And I'm used to being, before I worked here, I was the one that was watching all of the videos, pinpointing all of the little, secrets and that, you do in your...
Yeah.
So it's always
gems.
Yeah.
Doing a little hidden gems, finding of your own there. All right.
So that was always me, and it was really funny when Descent came out and people were doing it with my son, and same with Knights of the Fallen Empire for SWTOR, when people are doing that now, and I'm like, that was me! I was the one that was staying up till 2, and yay! Yeah.
She knows my pain! My labor of love!
Yeah. So I have, huge respect and love for you guys.
Aw.
Thank you.
Right back at you.
Yeah, right back at you. Do you have, a favorite moment out of all the games combined?
Oh, God.
Or if you have, 2 or 3, it's hard to choose.
It is really hard. It was like all of the Dragon Age games or
Yeah.
BioWare games.
Yeah,
Dragon Age, yeah.
I still love just everything with Alistair. I don't think I think Alistair ruined. I am married and stuff, but it ruined me. It's always my husband and I always joke that when we first started dating, he got me this ring that says Maker's Breath, you're beautiful. Yeah, your desire is my command. So all the Alistair quotes. But I loved...
Men out there listening, that is how you do it.
Yeah, it is. It is how you do it. So I love, when he gives you the rose, that'll always be one of my favorites. But I also like the end of Dragon Age 2 was one of my favorites as well. When Hawk's like, what have you done to Anders? And I was like, no, because you know exactly. You're like,
so
God, how could you do that? And then in Inquisition, I was just fist pumping when, they first formed the Inquisition, and then when you get to Skyhold and you have the big sweeping view, and it's just awesome. So, so good. And music, and I didn't know about, so spoilers,
your guys.
Go right on ahead.
So, I didn't know a lot about the story when I was playing Inquisition, I didn't know the whole story beforehand. I played it as a fan. And so when I finished my first playthrough and then went back and then watching all the little signs with Solus, it was like, oh, you bastard! And just seeing, just seeing all of the little tells and his little looks and stuff and being like, of course.
Of course.
And that's the perfect time to punch him. It really is.
Yeah, there are ways where you're just look and you're just But yeah, I think, and my other favorite scene is probably Dorian's scene in the tavern. I've played this now so many times, it makes me cry every single time. They did a beautiful job with that scene, for sure.
Yeah.
So then would he be your favorite companion, or who in all of Dragon Age is your favorite companion? Your favorite romance option, if that's different?
So Alistair is my favorite companion and romance option, but I would say Cullen and Dorian are right
really
there.
close.
But
Right up there, yeah.
I like totally geeked out to Brienne. Well, so I was telling Cameron Harris, one of the editors, how much I like Cullen, and like whenever my husband and I are like he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, oh, I don't care, I got Cullen, you can do it. No, it's always a joke. He knows what he married, and so. I told Cameron how much I liked Cullen, so she was like, I'm sending Brienne an email and getting all, you know, so Brienne's so sweet and nice, and I'm just like, I love your characters so much. So, yeah, I would say my top 4 is Alistair, Cullen, Dorian, and Anders. Those are my
Excellent.
4
Excellent choices.
That's pretty much mine too. So
I think that,
right
that's
on.
mine too. Like, we are so in sync over here.
I love it.
So, what were I think it's pronounced crotals? Like
Yeah,
the dinosaur
Crotal.
kind of things that...
So they are the war beasts of the Shabratal. I think there is a codex on them, but I want to keep a lot of mystery and stuff around them. Just maybe, I don't know.
So there's secrets.
Yeah,
involved.
it's like a lot of things with the Shabratal. It's meant to be mysterious and kind of like, you know, what is up with those things? But they're the war beasts.
Okay.
So kind of like the Mabari, but bigger and uglier and
It kind of looks like Sarah from The Land Before Time crossed with, like, Predator.
Actually, so I came up with a name for them, and it was taking, like, the name of the frill for Triceratops and, like, their genus or something, and then I came up with Crotal. There was, like, 8 of them,
cool.
and Shabratal came from, what are they called? It was something Shab. That's the Egyptian word that you buried things with the pharaohs with. So they stayed down since they're with the Titan. That's why I went something with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so this is probably a really hard question, but forgive me. So outside of what you were already doing,
yes,
let's talk dream game. If you could like make any game you want.
Any game you want,
what would you do?
Oh gosh, at BioWare, like it doesn't have to be an existing IP.
No.
If you could do anything, like get free run.
If
like,
they came to you today and said, "Next game is yours," what do you want to do?
I would do a detective game, probably set in like the 40s, probably set in like World War II, and do some kind of like
pulp era
spy. Yeah. Because I've always wanted to do some kind of like similar to LA Noire, but but not in LA, more in Europe or some kind of, it could be fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, but just that style, that pulpy, you know.
That's awesome.
That's what I would do.
That is all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
We love all the same things. Make it really easy.
I hope you all enjoyed this interview. Be sure to check out our other BioWare Austin interview about the Descent DLC with level designer Jordan Koch by clicking here on the screen or down in the video description. For more Dragon Age and BioWare related videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking the big blinking subscribe button coming up shortly.
You can also find me on my YouTube channel by clicking on the screen right now, or by finding the link down in the video description.